The Cherokee language is a sacred and vital part of our Cherokee identity. Our tribe is working diligently to save our language, and through that process, we are recognizing, honoring, and celebrating those who speak Cherokee and those who are helping with preservation efforts.
We believe there are about 2,200 first language Cherokee speakers, and although not all of those are represented in the roll book, each one of those signatures represents the resiliency and the strength of who we are as Cherokee people. And it represents the work that we have to do to hold on to that, to grow that for those that'll come behind us. Each signature represents failed government attempts to erase us as people, to erase us as Cherokees, to change who we are, to change who God intended us to be. And each signature represents how that didn't work.
Nada.
Not called a golly.
Yeah.
A golly would be like Ola. In the one is scarcity, and that's no haste. What's the one haste? That's so it's good. Jalis, you jellies, Jalis, you gel. You got much, Jalis. The way I grew up, I was, that was my first language. Cherokee been my first language, and I didn't realize the English or the non-Indians had a different language, because I never was exposed to English language that much. Everybody around my community that I grew up in spoke the Cherokee language. And I realized, I guess around 64, that there was something happening within our community. And that was even before I went the way of college. I saw the language slowly changing. I said, man, if we don't maintain our language as a community, this is going to disappear. Oh, stop. Oh, you're supposed to tell me. Ask me what this is.
Okay.
Very good. Our speakers are far in between now, where we've lost a lot of them in the last 10 years, during this COVID especially. My own family, I can count the number of people that are speakers now. If we lose these speakers, our language isn't demise. Yeah, it's gone. I mean, these are it. The people that are on that list are it. There's nobody else beyond that. And the thing about our language is, we can't go to Spain. We can't go to Norway or any place, Scotland, to get our language back. Our language is here. And it's going to die here if we don't do anything about it. I always look back and say, we didn't have to lose that language in the public schools, but there was a time, that was the way the system worked.
No, Joe, what? No, Joe. No, Joe, what?
There are no accidental Cherokees. There's no accidental speakers.
If we have a young person learning Cherokee, somebody's made that decision, whether it's their parents is making that sacrifice, their tribe is making that sacrifice, or them themselves is that dedicated. It's not happened accidentally. And that's the first time in our history that we've ever had to learn Cherokee on purpose.
Ꭺ류콴₦ ani duhaga.
Ani duhug. Dus ani duhug.
Delonage Ꭺ류 gadu.
Delonge sel gadu. Nin. Ayana.
Gadu uganast.
Gadu uganas. Tosta. Yana.
Every day, every night, there's somebody sitting, thinking, trying to figure out a better way to save Cherokee. So there is a whole team of people that is doing this. The fight is what level will we be able to save? Because there is a language decay that's happening.
Saw me. Assisted on.
Sami ajati ganiya.
So the idea is we were trying to do several things simultaneously. One is to save and preserve a living language. That this language, from mouth to ear, never dies. And the other one is to preserve and document it as much as we can. So we have references to go back for hundreds of years.
Osiyo, Ꭺန့ዀ₦Ꭺhyʲ galieli didedo. Jaligi gawanis ganewisux dagilawistaneho jaligi gawanis degadethquas. My name is Kristen Thomas. I work for the Cherokee Language Master Apprentice Program, and I am really happy to be here to talk a little bit about the Cherokee Speaker Rulebook Project. We wanted to recognize all speakers of the Cherokee language, and so that's where it began. How do we do that? How do we recognize these folks who have gone so long without recognition, and how can we honor them in the best way? We started doing some research. We found the best way to preserve this work that we were doing as well. Had a book made, and that is going to outlive all of us. And they tell us that it'll be around 500 years from now. And so we're really happy to have that with us and to pass along to the next generation of language warriors to see who was here and who helped us get to where we are. And so having that roll book was really important to us, but we also wanted for us to keep, but we also wanted to have something to give to. So some artists got together and created a medallion to honor each Cherokee speaker with. And, I see them sometimes wearing them just like their Sunday best. And it warms my heart to see speakers have something and that is special to them. It's a very small token, but it represents the affection and the appreciation that we have for all that they've given to us as second language learners. And that's where the project began. It was with the purest of intentions and a hope to really be able to shake the hand of every first language speaker. Once we had the roll book in hand, we had our medallions in hand, we wanted to get right into the communities and to be able to meet some speakers that we had never met before, and again, just shake their hand. And so we were really excited. And the first place we started was in Bellefonte. We hosted a speakers gathering. That's what we were calling them in the early days. We were there to honor them and to recognize them and to preserve something on their behalf for their families, for their grandchildren. Throughout 2019, through the summer and the fall, we continued to host 13 dinners or Cherokee speaker gatherings, and our numbers continued to grow. We'd see what started out with about 70 or so at the first few dinners, quickly turned into 100, 150.
Chỉ mấy mai cái đầu đó, hay là anh chủ yếu vụ sự chỉ được đó, na ở thực sự đóเลย, hay là gì là gì cả, có gì cái đấy sẽ đi rồi, dù gì tên thì được chỉ tới use cái cái gì là, trả lại này tí, lấy được cái đi vào này thì vào này sẽ được có cái gì vậy? Sẽ sinh cái vụ đó squeeze được cái gì, ở nhiều sẽ lỡ thì, tại vì cái thô University of Liwonde. My name is Jim Terry. I am from this community, Lost City. Grew up here. Getting old here in this area. And the reason I came out today was I really find it important to do my contribution in the preservation of the Cherokee language because it is dying.
We were able to recognize about 1,200 speakers from Oklahoma, from North Carolina. We've got a few pages of the book that are filled with speakers from the Eastern Band. And the book had made its way to Washington State. By that point, it had gone to Texas a couple of times, and it had been everywhere. And we have the coffee stains to prove it. It's loved and full of life now. There was some reluctancy in the very beginning of the project, and very, very well so. So many of these speakers, they were taken from their homes, they were taken from their parents and the only family they know, and taken to strange places. And they were punished and abused just because of who they were, and because they didn't speak English. And so some got to return. There were many that never returned from boarding school. And so we see the results of that today still. And we're doing all we can to work past it and to heal wounds they have that they never should have endured. And this project is hopefully the beginning of healing some of those wounds and helping people be proud of exactly who they are and what is their God-given right. So though this is not our wrong to write, these are our elders, and these are our speakers, this is our family, and we want to show them in every way that we can just how precious they are and how thankful we are to be able to share life with them.
There's a translator that has helped us. Really doesn't like us saying his name much about how much help he's done, but it's David Crawler. I remember sitting with him. Man's mind is incredible. Where we had these row chairs that we rolled around, and he started at his house in his mind, and he drove in his mind. It's like, there's a house right here, it's this color. He would describe all that. In this house is this many speakers, and we would go down. There's a little bitty road on the other side of that house. You go down there. There's two more houses. I mean, all of this different things that he did.
That Danny Lonnie Jalakano say, huh? Anna Undaka, so on need to look, I need Jaluk. I didn't know God Diosti. School. Nè hắn ít cho lắc nó là hắn vừa kết li á chịu đau đi hắn chẳng đi hắn nói đi nè có ít cho lắc hắn ít quản lý từ đó nó sao không cô hay biết rằng hắn nói thầy con hiểu cho nó sao hắn nói đấy đó là cái gì cái ý cho nó sao ta có lo chưa cái gì cái Chứ đó này không có đứa.
Taga Ꭺန့
No one.
When we started working on that, this hymn alone, he gave like 500 names that he had in his mind, which was, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's amazing that he could just drive in his head, but that's how his mind worked.
Để họ đi họ trả đòn này là đặt cái lô cái này là trả đòn này là thằng nào nó. They tore the house down.
We didn't know they had tore it down. It was right there.
Yeah, that's where the house used to sit, in front of that big tree right there.
I have a picture of it.
They tore it down. There's his letters he had tagged on the wall. There he is. There's his, he was signing the book that day. Oh, I'm sad they tore that house down. Ở chỗ này có hết con William Blackbird từ đó cho là cái tiệc thi ở nọ sẽ hơn. Cái đó Ꭺန့န့ đó cái hả? Hết cứ nước lá cứ khano hết cái cứ bây giờ nó khano hết cái nó có hơn nó nà như ý con. Anh tổ cái nó thôi. Chỉ đi nào đó này cái này nó có chạy thôi. Anh nói bộ thôi. Có đọc chữ lâu sao hẳn giả đấy hả? Hẳn ta đi. Nó khỏi sợi giấy đấy nó sao đọc sao nữ lâu sao giả đấy. Buổi đấy lấy giả đấy hả? Nó nè. Lỗi bộ sao gọi đấy.
Ata tla eto yiges. Ko la bộ cho anh à.
Nó chữ bộ xong thì gọi là.
In the beginning, we really wanted to be able to, recognize Cherokee speakers, as well as establish an accurate record of how many Cherokee speakers we still have with us. But through a really short time, that changed. And the project began to celebrate Cherokee speakers. And it was such a dynamic shift.
Han ta hen na ti go well. Te cha ton cha jo well on na. Han. La go well le cha ton. Nè, han. Ki go ti cha ton, te cha ton. Na hi cha jo well on na. Cha like you. Go hi chi ke na. Hello la I ka se. Ne heli cha like ani wonisk.
Det var ni nè, lite heller.
Då står jag det var då det då.
Jo, det har ju inte nå. Jo, när det går lycka ju.
Ska det inte gå väl så att så ju där här.
The project ended with one large gathering. It was September 27th, 2019, and turned out to be the largest gathering of Cherokee speakers since Oklahoma statehood. There was representation from all three tribes, and there aren't words, I don't have the words anyway, to really describe that day. We met under the trees at the Heritage Center in Ꭺ窩န့. And what we were planning on 600, 700 folks or so quickly turned into 1,100.
Go who's Nelly? Han er det helt lov til det lidt well. Skåda og what
It was such a remarkable and undescribable reunion of families that just got to sit down and visit for the first time ever. And they got to do that in Cherokee.
The idea of capturing the names of the men and women who possess that very special treasure in their hearts and in their minds, and that is fluency in the Cherokee language, was something that we needed to do, because we don't know what we're up against until we know those numbers. But of course, we need to do more if we're going to preserve our language. Yesterday, the Council of the Cherokee Nation unanimously passed legislation that I worked with them on. That was the Durban Feeling Language Preservation Act, after a great man and a great friend, Durban Feeling. It takes all of the language programs of the Cherokee Nation, from our immersion school to our master apprentice program, to our program that bridges those two, to our translation departments, and to programs that are still on the drawing board but will be brought to fruition in the coming years. It houses them all in the old Cherokee Nation Casino. That is a wonderful building, and that will change the face of the Cherokee language preservation.
The man and woman are drinking coffee. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Here. There you go. The woman is wearing a yellow hat. Very good. Hey, this one. Askaya, that's a good one. Askaya, dijalagi, dego huele. Very good. See, that's what you're doing, but you're learning. You're not writing them, you're learning.
Ꭺန့ is one of my boys. I have two boys, Ȯttawan and Ꭺහැ. Ꭺහැ was, we were able to adopt him through Cherokee Nation. And he's just a little old man in a 6-year-old body. He is so much fun. Both of them are just smart, like too smart for their own good.
And sun, flowers. Here it goes.
We try to tell him how important the language is and what an opportunity he has to learn from my dad. And we talk about how some people don't have speakers and some people don't have grandpas who can teach the language. And so we try to show him that he's got a really cool opportunity just right here in the house.
What am I doing?
Kawaditas.
Kawaditas.
Grandpa,
what's Grandpa doing?
Making coffee.
It's almost surreal to be able to sit and talk in Cherokee and about Cherokee with them, because it was like a dream to be able to learn it. And now that I'm learning it and passing it down to the boys, it's surreal to sit there and be able to discuss and kind of joke around even in Cherokee. I love it though. It's those moments that I will always look back and just be grateful for, that I had that chance to speak with my dad and my son at the same time.
One day there will be families that go to the Durban Feeling Language Center right behind us. Their kids will be in baby immersion. Mom and dad will be a master apprentice or went through master apprentice. The only thing we're lacking for them families is in the evenings and the weekends, a place for them to stay in Cherokee. Now there's a whole village that comes in and embraces that family. So we will have kids coming to visit their elders. There will be language classes happening right where we stand. Now we may not call them language classes, but they were the best kind of language classes. That informal, this is how you say this. That's in their living room and around other speakers. I don't know how many times I've talked to speakers and they just say, I'm lonely. I don't hear Cherokee anymore. They'll hear Cherokee here all the time. So this is going to be kind of a sacred place for us.
Ai les la yo te squais genau da.
Okay.
Da ich gata. Das gesau wo wortlane ich. Ich ga ja genau.
Our leaders are thinking about language all the time. What an exciting time. You know, it's a scary time. It's an exciting time as well because we're doing something about it. You know, our tribe is doing something about it. That's amazing.